needs political rallies or even events to be a good political leader? I contend nobody. We have gotten into that as the political norm. I think it's to our detriment. I mean, to some extent, the candidate who's focused on glad-handing and images isn't focused on policymaking and effectuating good ideas. Voters themselves, I think, are shortchanged when they look to candidates for their effervescence instead of their cerebral ability to affect goodness for them. So, we have some examples of leaders who were nowhere near flamboyant, yet very good. Thomas Jefferson did not dress well. He did not meet crowds, yet he was a good president and a very good political leader. Calvin Coolidge, not gregarious, you didn't see him at events. He was a good governor and a very good president. Calm, thoughtful. That's better than rallying, standing, marching. My preference is sit, don't stand. Sitting allows deliberation. One of our most effective leaders never stood. Franklin Delano Roosevelt, for the last 20 years of his life, was paralyzed, couldn't stand. Emotion gets us into a mess, whether it's from the left, the right, the nationalistic. We end up with bad results by being overly tied to a leader's presence and the emotion that sometimes gets carried out. We don't need political rallies. For those who don't have video and are only listening, you can count on some, okay, left, bad, if you're talking about BLM riots. Right, not so good, if you're talking about going into the Capitol without warrant. Nationalistic, got us the Patriot Act when congressmen were full of this fervor without so much thought behind it. We don't need political rallies to win people over. We need people to listen and to read, and the ability to do that is more abundant than ever before, thanks to the democratizing through the internet. I am a candidate for mayor and possibly for federal office. A political event is not my thing, okay? I might have to go to some, but you won't know as much about me as listening to a video. And other people won't know as much about me as you forwarding that video and trying to make it go viral. You can only glad hand so many people, okay? How many in 2020 people actually met either Donald Trump or Joe Biden? Okay, 99.9% of the people who had a fervent vote, they weren't just tossing a coin, they'd never met either of them. But they could come to decisions nevertheless. A political event might be socially fun. I get that. But it's not a great way to know a candidate. You're not going to get candor very often at a political event. You're going to have canned speeches, displays of party stuff, and the people who go there aren't there to be convinced anyway. They're already acolytes of the candidate. Exception, if you go to New Hampshire prior to their presidential primaries, people go to low-key, almost non-events, but places where they hear candidates, question candidates, do get to know what the candidates think and see how they respond. So these big rallies, they're not even always fun. You have to wait a long time. Security, especially when a candidate's late, like Biden usually is. Security makes you take off half of your clothing. And you're not getting the candidate so much as a script. Now, here's the exception once again. Yeah, that guy, there's no comparison. Everyone should go to a Trump rally, okay? I'm not saying you should ever vote for Trump again, but going to a rally is an experience. Even being outside a rally, meet maggots people, they're nice. And have the experience, it can be fun. I'm not suggesting that any rallies really help you know a candidate. Nor does an event help you know that the candidate's like one of us. I'm not sure a candidate should be like one of us. Don't be like us. I mean, I admire airline pilots, but I don't want them to be anything like me. I don't want to know that they're staying up late. I don't want to know that they're having beers. I don't want to know that they're spending a lot of time on video games. Similarly, a political candidate has just a different role that doesn't have to be like everybody else. And you can admire that candidate, and you'll probably admire more if you know more about the candidate. So in case you're still interested in me, I'm better being questioned directly, but not at a cocktail party. Yeah, I'll dutifully come, but don't expect much. I don't like making small talk. I don't tell jokes. I'm a teetotaler. I'm probably best left home, but responsive to any of your questions. I'm as candid as a candidate can be. I leave out the 4 B's and that's it. Fire away with anything else. Finally, I would come to a slow pitch softball event where I'm the same team pitcher. I'm pretty good at serving up juicy, fat ones so that your team gets a lot of hits. I'll come to that. Thanks for listening here. I'm Mark Stewart.